Hey everyone, welcome to Caswell's Kappa, the channel where you get to learn how to work on your vehicle step by step. In today's video, we're going to learn how to replace the fuel pump in your Hyundai Santa Fe. This procedure will apply to the 2007 to the 2012 Hyundai Santa Fe's, though the procedure will be different according to each Santa Fe. For instance, the 2010 to 2012s may require a different fuel pump part number or a different procedure to get to them altogether. Everyone knows, or it's pretty common knowledge, that the 2010 to 2012s, they made some tweaks there, so there are some discrepancies between the earlier models and the later ones. Another discrepancy is the trims. You know, you got the GLS's, you got the Limiteds. Some GLS's, I believe it's the GLS's, they'll have bucket seats and they'll have third row seats. The Santa Fe we're working with today is a Limited. It only sits 5 people, not 7. So you get second row seats, but no third. Obviously, the procedure is going to be different for those two, so the discrepancies there are, you're not going to be able to follow all the way in this video. But regardless of that, fuel pumps, they should still be in the same position. It's just trying to get to them. So the vehicle we're working with today is a 2008 Hyundai Santa Fe with a 3.3 limited engine, or 3.3 liter engine. It's a limited, but I'll provide you with clear step-by-step instructions, the tools you need, and basically everything you need, clear instructions. So let's get to the video. Before we start anything, the first thing we need to do is we need to depressurize the fuel system. One easy way to do that, instead of doing it a fancy schmancy way, come over here to your fuse box relay. You're going to search this for your fuel pump, which mine is in the top left corner next to the rain sensor. Where's my rain sensor? Interesting. Anywho, so right here is my fuel pump. Take this and yank it. Yeah. And now that that's out, let's crank the engine. It'll start and then sputter and stall, and that will mostly get rid of the fuel that's pressurizing the system. If not, crank it a little more, try to get it out. Don't burn up your starter though. So now that this is out, let's crank it. Now that the fuel pressure has been depressurized, we can come over to our battery and disconnect the system. We don't want any electricity going while we're dealing with the gasoline system or the fuel system, especially if you got vapors from the gas tank. You got any kind of electricity making a spark, yeah, that's boom, you don't want that. Not only that, we're dealing with the seats back there. I don't know if there's any passenger presence system that has to deal with that. So instead of dealing with a potential airbag going off, we're going to disconnect the battery, make sure everything is off so we can be as safe as possible. To remove the terminals, so here's your battery. To remove your positive and negative, you're going to need a 10mm socket. Do your negative first and then your positive. Don't do positive then negative. Electricity will go throughout your system backwards, especially to your ECM, and that can cause some faulty damage. It's the last thing you want. So remember, negative first, then positive, 10mm. Now when it comes to finding the fuel pump assembly, we won't have to look no further than the back of this trunk. So it's located somewhere around there underneath everything. The mat, your little containers down there, the carpet, you gotta get way down there. So in order to get to it, we got to remove all of that. And now that we know that, let's get rid of it all. So to get to them, take your mat, pull it out, chuck it to the side, get out of here. Next, we're going to need to remove both of these compartments. To remove these compartments, there's going to be several screws that we need to remove. First, the bottom compartment. As we can see, there's going to be a screw here on the left side, a screw underneath your eye, right there in the middle, and then there's going to be one on the right side underneath your jack, right there. So we're going to need to remove those 3 screws first. So it's probably best if you remove everything out from this compartment, including your factory jack and the eye. Next, it's going to be the bigger compartment. We'll come in here, and it's easier if you always put this little peg down into one of the slots so you don't have to hold it up with your hand. There's going to be 3 screws once again. One on the right, one in the middle, don't worry about that, and then one on the left. Once all 6 of these screws have been released, this compartment should be free and you can take it out and remove it. Now some might say you need to take out these little tow hooks here, which I've already taken out just to show y'all what I mean. They'll say that you need to take out all 4 of those little tow hooks or straps there. That's not necessary. They don't hold down the whole compartments, so you can leave those in place. I just took these out to show y'all what I'm talking about. Now that all the screws are out, we can remove these compartments, but before we do, there's a piece of trim along the bottom of your trunk that needs to be removed first. This trim is connected to the bottom compartment, and if you try to remove this compartment by itself, it will pull on this tab, on the tabs that are connected to the trim piece, and you could break them. It's not what you want. So what you can do is you can get you a panel removal tool, or just get you a flathead, and there's tabs that you'll want to pop along this trim piece. There's 8 total. There's 4 on each side. There's one here, one here, one here, one there. Here, 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 and here. They kind of alternate diagonally. So either get you a panel tool or a flathead and start popping away. Now I'd prefer to use a panel tool, but I don't know where mine is at right now, because under this is just kind of like the paint of the vehicle. It's metal on metal. So I don't typically like using a flathead, but I ain't got no choice at this current moment. So 1, that may have been 2. Okay, there's 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and looks like number 8 came off with 7. So now that all 8 has been removed, as we can see, both the compartment and the trim piece are free. So we can lift this up, lift it out, and just so that y'all can kind of see it, well, I don't know if y'all will be able to or not, but there's little tabs along the trim piece that kind of allow it to shimmy out of place. So now that that's out, let's go put this up and work on the bigger container. Now before we remove the big container, we'll notice there's 2 more screws on the bottom, preventing the front portion to be released. These need to be removed first in order to remove the bigger compartment. Now that the 2 screws are removed, as we can see, it moves quite freely. We just got to lift it up and remove it. Now that the compartments have been removed, as we can see, we have some good carpet here, and we have the back of the seats. So the next thing that we'll need to do is remove the back seats themselves, which that's gonna suck, but we can do it. Now, there's 4 bolts in the back. We've got to look at the front here in a minute, but in the back there's gonna be 4 bolts. There's 2 here, and then there's gonna be 2 there. To remove these 4 bolts, you're gonna need a breaker bar and a 14mm socket. Just to get them loose. And then once all 4 are loose, we're going to move to the front. When it comes to the front, all of the fasteners are going to be in front of the seats. So there's 2 there. And on the other side, 1 here and 1 there. Once again, these are all 14mm sockets. Once all of the bolts have been removed, including the front ones, there's something I want y'all to pay attention to very, very closely. So as we can see here, we have a special type of bolt, right? Kind of got like a little bit of a self-tapping to it. Now, there are 3 of this specific type of bolt. There's 1 here, one here, and one there. This one in the center, however, it has a bigger bolt. It's because it's more in the center and it's the bigger seat. So be sure whenever this is put back on, if this is the same case for you, you put this back where it goes and in the correct spot. And then the other three, make sure they all go into the correct spot as well. But now that those have all been removed, we can now remove the seats. Now when it comes to actually removing the seats, you can do this however the crap you want to. You can do it from the passenger side, driver's side, if you want to do it that way. I'm doing it from the back. It's the biggest space and there's nothing in the way. So that's how I'm going to be doing it. Climb in here, grab the seat, I'm going to bring it back. Watch out for the seat belt clips because they come through the seat. So as you start pulling on it, they're going to start snaking their way through. Just help them out by pushing them through a little bit. Okay. Oh. Woo, ow. Alright. Alright. And just like that, we can take it out. Okay, now we're going to remove the driver's side. Ooh, that hurt. Once again, you got the seatbelt clips. Just push them through the seat. There are like little mounts that you can unbolt, but I don't know if those are Loctited on there, and I really don't want to deal with any kind of Loctite at the moment. So I'm just going to push them down to get them out. Oh, come on, the other one was so much easier. There we go. There's that one. And then the middle one, the middle clip on this one, it snaps or is bolted directly onto the seat itself. So let me take this guy off so he's out of the way. Get out of here. Okay. Set this guy down. Get out of the way. Oh! See, it's connected to the seat itself. Oh! Now this one is heavier, so if you need a friend, phone a friend. I don't have a friend right now, so... But I'll call me, myself, and I. Now that the back seats have been removed, as we can see, over here, this is where your fuel pump assembly is going to be, and then this one is where your other deal is going to be. We're not dealing with that one today, we're dealing with the fuel pump. Now, this cutout shouldn't already be here. So as we can see, it's cut out. It shouldn't be like that. This should be just a flush single piece. So that tells me someone has been in here before and they've done something. They've most likely replaced the fuel sender or the fuel level sensor that goes to the gas gauge. But yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm replacing the whole unit. So if you need the location of that cutout, just be careful whenever you cut this, as there are harnesses around. So as you can see, it's kind of in that deal, kind of cut in line right here with the seat right here, and then just a little bit over a few inches. If you do happen to need this one, just a little over from the seat, and then kind of next to this hump, just a couple inches. So that's that one if you need it, and then there is your fuel pump assembly cutout. Now if you want, this is completely by choice, my choice, I went ahead and made 2 more incisions just so that I can get to these a little bit easier. Not only that, but there is a harness that runs from this fuel pump to the vacuum right here. And so what I did is I made an incision here and over to where you have this hole here for the seatbelt clip. That way I can come in and pull up, and as you can see, there's a clip here and a clip there. And with this in the way, it's very difficult to get a hold of those. Not only that, this part here, it can just slide under there, so it can hold that pretty still. And then over here, it only came to about right here as far as this flap goes, so I went ahead and made an extra incision farther down so that I can get to this fully. And if you want to do this, that is your decision. I'm not going to coerce you to do that, but I want to do whatever I guess, more convenient or easier in the long run, especially if I have this issue again, so that I don't have to come through and struggle. I just want to be able to get in, have room, get it done. So that's something you can do. Now that we've got that settled, let's move on. Okay, so this is the cover for the fuel pump. It's going to have putty around the cover. Grab a scraper. This one's pretty good. I can't really just lift this side. Just go through. Try to get all that junk out from underneath it. Looks like they used a different sealant on this side. Oh. Actually, I did this one pretty good. Alright, yeah. Okay. That's better. Cool. Take that, set that to the side. Take this off. Try to get him slid up so I can get him up over. Alright. There we go. I'm not going to be able to move this guy over as much, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and there's actually several connections here that I can't quite remove. Yeah, okay. So this side's going to be more difficult, unlike the other side, whenever it comes to moving this plate out of the way. There's more harnesses, and there's even a wire that goes this way, so I can't really do much this time. So I'm going to set this down. I'm going to shift the angle so y'all can see in there better, get a look at the harnesses, and we'll continue. Okay, so here's the other side. As we can see, here's all of our wiring. There's a harness here, and then there's a harness right here. We need to remove both of those. The reason we can't completely remove this out of the way is because this wire here shoots that way. So something we can do is, once we remove those two harnesses, there's a wire that shoots this way that will help us scoot the whole assembly over a little bit, just so we have more room and we can actually get this out of the way so we can get our fuel pump out. So we'll have to go to the other side, remove the rubber garment, and undo that harness. If you're doing the fuel sender, you most likely did that side already. So just take the rubber grommet off and undo that harness, and then that should give us ample room. We're going to go ahead and remove these two harnesses, and then we'll move down that way. So let's get to removing those. Okay, so to remove these, there's this harness here and this harness here. This one back here, there's just a little pull tab right here. Pull that up, slide it out. That's disconnected. Next is this guy right here. There's a little push tab right here, and this whole socket piece is going to come out, not just this top, but the whole socket piece. You can push that in if you want and then pull it out. I had a hard time the first time doing it. This was really stiff because it has been messed with, so I had to get a dowel rod, push that in, and then pull up the first time like that. But I think I've wiggled it pretty good now, so it's pretty free. So you're going to remove those two right there. And just from those two, I mean, we already have a lot of wiggle room, but I want to go ahead and get this third one out of the way so I don't have to deal with it, and we can move it more this way. So let's go to that side and remove that harness. Okay, so here's the other side. Get your flap, here's the cover, and if you've watched the fuel sender video, you know I've already jacked with this, but I'm going to take this rubber grommet, pull it out here, just slide it up out of the way. And as you can see, we have our harness right here. This black tab right here is what we need to push in, and then we'll pull it out. But as you can see, there's not a whole lot of room, so just get you some kind of tool. Put it up against, so there's a black piece and then there's a white piece over here that provides a lip. Put a tool, like a flathead or a dowel rod, on the black piece, on the lip of it. Push down on the tab, and then just leverage it out. Just like so. There's that harness, and then it's going to snake all the way to the fuel pump, but there's two connections holding it in place, so we'll have to disconnect those as well. Okay, so we're in the middle here, the fuel pump here, the assembly right there, And then as you can see, we got the two connections here and there. There's not really a way to get these out, so the only thing you can really do to remove these, and both mine are puttied up for some reason, just take it and pull it out like so. You might break them, you might not. There's not really a good way to get these out. So for this one, as you can see, there's a little clip here, a little clip there, and on this side, they're both getting stuck on the deal, and they'll push out like that, and you can't get them at all. So this one I had to come through. I saw a little bit of a lip of that, and I pushed that in a little bit and heard it click, and then I might be able to push it out now. No, still can't push it out. Hold on, let me grab the dowel rod. No, that one's free. It's just the other one that's getting stuck now. Good Lord, this is ridiculous. Let me look at the other side now. Okay, finally got it. Just, like I said, bring it over, push it in, just forced it out. This hole is a little bit at an angle, so if you try to push it or twist it and pull it out, it's not going to work. It's got to be lined up with a hole. So this one is crooked, the other one's straight. So these are both free. Let's get back to the fuel pump. Okay, we are back to the fuel pump. As you can see, wire's free. I can move this guy completely over now without having to worry about anything but this other stupid wire. Twist it around. I know you can't see it, but twist it around until this hole is facing there. That way it gets all the way over, and as we can see, we have all the room in the world that we need. So now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty fuel lines. But before we get to the fuel lines, I highly suggest you clean everything around here. You do not want anything getting into your gas tank. There's a lot of contaminants here, so I'm going to grab a vacuum this out. I'm going to grab a rag, spray it with some Dawn dish soap and water in a bottle. Very handy, by the way. And then I'm going to wipe everything down. That way I make sure no contaminants get to the fuel area and to the gas tank, because if you install your new fuel pump, guess what? It's going right back into it, and that thing's gone. So let me grab a rag, Dawn dish soap, and vacuum. Let me clean up this whole area here. Okay, so got it all wiped out and vacuumed. I recommend wiping it again, the vacuuming. That way all the loose debris is sucked up from whatever you wipe down. But we're going to be dealing with fuel lines, and since we disconnected the relay, nothing should go psh, but you still have a chance of it because not all the fuel is going to be out, especially at the fuel pump. You are going to be dealing with gas on this side, by the way. So if you want, wear gloves. If not, whatever. So for this guy right here, little square tab, push that in, pull out, like that, like so. Hey. I said out. Okay. This guy right here, this one's kind of special. This is where your gas is going to be, all right? Gas comes out and then to the engine. So you are going to deal with gas on this one. Two blue tabs on here. Push down, slide up. You hear that? Once again, push down, slide up, and then pull out. This is where you're going to deal with gas, by the way. Come on. Oh, yep, there you go. So just like that. There's your gas. And you can already smell it. See, this is why that's important. So I'm going to show y'all again just so that y'all understand. Push in, up, keep pushing, out. There you go. If you get gas on your hands, wipe it clean. Any gas sitting around, wipe that off. You don't want that sitting on anything, especially paint. Or if you have kids, you don't want that getting in the carpet. Wipe it down immediately. And then just let that sit to the side. But now that both of those are released, you're probably huffing gas, getting high, so it's time to work quick, not slow. Next, we're going to be dealing with the fuel lock ring. You need a special tool, OEM 24398. It's going to go around the lock ring. Let's remove that. Okay, so when it comes to using this tool, there's little ridges here and here. It's going to fit in the teeth of the lock ring. Just be careful of where you put it. And I want mine to be in there a certain way, so I want my breaker bar to be facing towards the front, because these are on there so tight I have to brace myself up against the door and then use my foot. That's how tight these are. So that should be good right there. So I'd like to put the back one in, push in the front if I can. There we go. Go ahead and twist left to lock it in. Get my breaker bar, 1/2 inch, set it in place. Okay, it's good to go. Let me go on the other side and try to break this free. It's going to sound like a gunshot, by the way, by the time you're finished with this. So if you hear it, bah! Once it loosens, don't be afraid. You didn't break nothing. This thing is strong. Alright, y'all ready for this? Get my foot. Try not to cramp myself. And push. Oh, yep, there it is. Just told y'all. It's scary, man. Oh. Take that off. Snake him off. Check everything, make sure everything's okay. Now it's immediately going to go bah, and it's going to sit up and catty corner because there's a spring on the bottom of the fuel pump. And if you've done the fuel assembly on the other side, it's the same thing. It's a spring on just like that side. And because it springs up, it's always so freaking difficult to get this where it needs to be. And this is whenever you're going to start getting gas as well on your hands. So just be forewarned of that. Okay. That side. What am I hitting here? Oh, I see. Okay, there's your fuel lock ring. This guy is free to move around. Now we can remove him. Okay, so now that everything is unlocked and the fuel pump is freely moving, this is when you need to be very, very diligent at what you do. There's a bunch of crap under the lock ring, under the fuel pump. You do not need to get this in your gas tank. There's a bunch of fuel underneath here, which you'll see here in a minute. But you need to be very diligent, very careful with your movements to make sure you don't get any fuel contamination. Oh, this is the fun part too, because nothing wants to squeeze through here. Okay, sir, what's going on here? There we go. Slowly bring that out. Watch for your fuel sensor on this far side. If you can see that, if you have it the same angle that I have it with, it's going to get caught on the rim there. You hear all that fuel? I'll let that drain out for a second. So I'm going to let that sit for a second before we continue. Okay, I think that's good. Grab my rag and set it down here. Now it's still pouring out. Okay, I'm going to let that pour out. I'm going to grab a couple towels so that I can set that fuel pump on the towel. Okay, I got my towel set to the side and it seems to stop draining. Got to angle this out. As you can see back here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but our fuel sensor's right here. There's a wire coming down. Angle that to where it comes out nice and neat. Just like that. There's going to be a wire connected to the bottom. You see that? Try to get that to come out as much as you can so that you have plenty of slack. Okay. Just like that. Get my rag. I'm going to set that down. And there is still fuel throughout the whole assembly as well. So be careful when you set that down. It'll pour out. You got carpet around. You don't want that in your carpet. Cool. Now that that's done, so you can see at the bottom here, there's another fuel line. We want to disconnect that. That way the fuel pump is completely disconnected. I'm going to grab my dowel rod. Push that in. Pull out. Leave that up top. You don't want that going down there yet. Okay. Fuel pump has been completely disconnected. Now for replacing the fuel sender, as we can see, it's right here. I'm going to follow the blue lines till we see this one right here. Now this harness is different from the other one. This is the harness we dealt with, the back one, on the other side, but we're dealing with this front one where the blue wires connect. And just like the other side, it looks like they're burnt. So take this, push it in, try to pull out if you can, which I don't think I'm going to be able to again. So I'm going to grab my pliers, try it this way again. It's gonna be a little more tricky since there's another harness behind it. So push down, try to put, without squishing your fingers. Ow. Okay, so I finally got it. I just grabbed my knife and I stuck it in this slot because this is where the tab is, and I just pinched the piss out of the bottom right here and pulled out. You see it's starting to come out now. And there's that one right there. Whenever you go to reinstall it, try to follow the same path as you did. So unwrap around the wire, comes through this black hose. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Yeah, you can see that. Comes through the black hose, and then it's going to attach under this little tab right here. Unscrew that. Well, not really unscrew it, but you know what I mean. And then whenever it comes to this guy, there's a little tab right here. Push that in, slide it out. So push that in, slide out. The fuel sender has been removed. Now we can reinstall it. A new one. Now when it comes to installing it, you're going to do it the same way as the other one, or just like when you took it off. You're going to slide it in with kind of like a, where did I put that sensor at so I can show y'all? Here it is. So take your sensor, just like the other one, act like the roof, slide it on till it clicks, like that, and then you got your lever there, snake it through, make sure it's behind that tab there, and then plug it in. But I'm not doing that because I'm actually just going to be replacing this whole thing. So now that that's all done, let's get to installing the fuel pump. Now if you're installing a new gas pump like I am, make sure to replace this gasket, and before you even do anything, please vacuum everything out and then wipe it down without getting anything inside. That is a death trap for your fuel pump or your new fuel pump. All that crap, that's not good. You're going to screw up your engine quicker than you can say help me, or quicker than you can say fuel pump. So I'm going to slowly take this guy out. Careful not to get any contaminants out. Oh, there goes that hose. Wonderful. But that's all right. It's built to withstand that stuff. I'll get that in a minute. So that's out of the way. I'm going to vacuum in here a little more. Then I'm going to spray some... No, I'm not going to spray. I'm going to spray a rag and then wipe everything down, being careful not to get anything inside there. And then we can install our fuel pump with a new gasket. And if y'all want to see how I'm cleaning this so delicately, grab a rag, put it around 2 fingers, and anything that's around the lock teeth, like right here, I'm taking my rag and I'm pushing it towards the back, twisting my hand and then coming out carefully. That way if anything is here, it pushes it back instead of inside. Anything around the back, I kind of just take it and I'll swirl it from side to side, and I'll push it towards the back, and then I'll come back through and I'll vacuum everything just to make sure there's not too much loose debris around. So I'll do a couple teeth, maybe go around once, vacuum it out. Do it some more teeth, vacuum it out, just to reduce the amount of loose debris that's around the opening, because like I said, you don't want it in that gas tank. So now that you've seen that, I'm going to finish up here and then we'll install the fuel tank, or the fuel pump. So here's our new fuel pump, and your float is going to be separated for shipping for obvious reasons. So in order to install this, there's a clip on the electrode deal here, the reader, and so if you look at the bottom of this, you got a sharp curve or a sharp turn right here next to all the squiggly stuff. The end piece is going to go into the hole, and then this bend right here is going to clip onto this gray piece, but be very careful when you do that, because you don't want to push too hard on that. That's my main thing. So I'm going to lift up right here. You see this right here? There's a little tab on the bottom of the gray thing. I'm going to push up as I push in. There we go. That way that pushes in all right. As we can see, everything looks a-okay. Inspect this just to make sure those deals are not broken, which they look fine. So now that that's all done, let's install the pump. Okay, when it comes to installing the fuel filter, get your new gasket, put it on there, slide it through there. Set this guy here. This is the one that's going to go in the gas tank and at the bottom of your fuel pump. Grab that. Plug it in, plug it in. And then we're going to slowly slide this through. I want this to go in first because that's sticking out the most. So slide that in. I know that's going to be hard for y'all to see here. Let me do this from a different angle. Here you go. So just like that. Fuel cylinder in first. Okay. Slide everything in. Oh yeah, that's why it's in the freaking way. There we go. Okay, just like so. Okay. Alright, and this should be good like that. Okay, remember there's a whatchamacallit. Also be careful of these top pieces, they'll come off. You don't want those in the gas tank. There's a spring on the pump. Alright, so be careful of that. We're going to angle this. Which way did I have this last time? This way. Okay. So I'm going to have it angled this way. Remember this little piece here. This tooth on the fuel pump needs to be in between the teeth of those. I'm going to go ahead and take these off. Get these out of the way. Go ahead and I'm not going to connect them yet. Okay. But at this point, we're going to grab our fuel lock ring and get it ready. Okay, let's try to tighten this on here. Okay, there's that. It's not on all the way. You need it to go pop. Okay. Oh Lord. Okay, hang on. Ah, there it is. All right, so that's popped in place. Okay, take the tool out. And as you can see, the lines are in the middle right here, and these are fully flush up against the opening that was there. So the lock ring is completely installed. And if you want, you can wait here, see if you can smell anything later on. But I'm going to go ahead and put the fuel lines on, and then I'll check later. So to put these fuel lines on, easy peasy. Take it, slide it on. This one, remember, it's a little different. Make sure the orange is all the way up. Slide it on. Clicks, push down. Make sure that clicks in place. Come on. Okay. This one's not one to click in place. But this is an aftermarket pump, so that could be the reason as well. Let me... Yep, okay, because this is an aftermarket pump, this orange piece is not going to want to come up, but it won't pull out still because you still got them tabs there that you have to push in as well. So it's still pretty sealed, but it won't be as secure as I would like it to be, which kind of sucks, but, oh, nope, there it is. Maybe not. Yeah, nope, it's not going to work. Okay, well, there's that, and I'll just have to leave it like that for now on, I guess. That kind of sucks. But anyways, those are connected, so let's move on to our harnesses now. So before we take care of the harnesses, as you can see, there's a bunch of putty and gunk on the outside as well as on the cover itself. I'm going to go ahead and grab a scraper, scrape all that off. If you go to scrape, let me grab my scraper so I can show y'all. Oh, if you go to scrape and you still see like a thin film on there, kind of like that, but it's all clean, that is a-okay. You're not going to be able to get all this crap off half the time. Well, this time I might be able to. Kind of. But if it's still clean like that was, that is a-okay for your next seal. Because that's still clean. That's nice and tacky. It's not going to hurt nothing. So go ahead and clean the edge of this and where it's going to connect. And if it's clean, leave it be. If it's dirty, scrape it. And then we'll get back to installing the harnesses, but we'll want to do this first just so that it's ready and primed, and then we'll hook everything up and then reseal it. Okay, everything's been scraped. I went ahead and took my rag, cleaned on the outside as well, same with the cover. Now we're going to install every harness here. So we got this one here. Okay, then we got this one here. There's a cover on that. Take this guy, plug him in until he clicks, like so. Okay, and then this guy is obviously going to go that way. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to apply some sealant on here and here. Actually, you know what? No, we're not going to do that yet because I want to prime the pump and I want to make sure it's priming correctly. So I'm going to attach the other harness first, make sure everything's connected, and then I'm going to reconnect the battery, re-put in the fuel relay, and see if this thing pumps correctly and start the vehicle. So let me install this other harness first, and then we'll get to all that other junk. Okay, this side, harness, tabs up top. Just push it in there and push till you hear it click. Or not. I guess it won't click. Put it all the way. Yeah. Okay, that should be good. Sometimes it'll click, sometimes it won't. It's not clicking this time. Okay, that's on. All the harnesses are on. I'm going to go ahead and install that fuel pump relay, and then we'll install, reattach the battery cables and see how everything works now. Okay, got the fuel pump relay. Make sure it's aligned correctly. Install it. It's fully seated, and then we'll reinstall the battery cables. All right, when it comes to doing the battery cable, take your wheel out. Positive first, always do positive first, then do negative. Okay. Ooh, sparks. Make sure they're all the way down. Okay, and then we'll tighten them. Always do positive first, then negative last. Whenever you're taking it off, negative first, positive last. So, positive first, negative. Okay, and now we'll tighten these down. Okay, so now we're going to be checking everything. First, we're going to check our fuel sender, and then we're going to listen for the fuel pump. The fuel pump, you do have to prime the fuel pump, though there's multiple ways to do it. And for the Hyundai Santa Fe, for some models, you can put it on to the accessory power, and then it'll start priming. That's not going to be the case here. We have to crank it because the fuel prime signal is not sent unless it's on crank. So I'm going to turn on accessory power. Looks like my fuel sender's working. And then to prime the fuel pump, I'm going to okay, without starting it, because I want to make sure that it's primed. And I know it's going to put some wear on the starter, but this is necessary to prime it. So, watch your ears. Okay, and now let's try it. Okay, everything's looking good. Got no engine code. Engine's running very smoothly. I like that. It wasn't running smoothly before. Okay. I think we're good. Hey, all right, cool. I'll shut her down. And I'm going to start it one more time just to make sure. Mm-hmm. 45, 44. It may be sucking up more fuel now into the system. Keep an eye on that. Okay, well, now that that's all done, let's reattach everything and apply some sealant and put everything in the back together. Okay, now that everything was tested, we're going to put some sealant on here. I don't have putty. I'm just going to be using some Seal All. It provides a real good seal. So usually what you want to do with Seal All is you want to coat both surfaces, so both the metal and the cover. However, because of the limited space and everything touching itself and each other, I'm probably just going to put sealant on the surface that the cover is sitting on. And I won't put it on the cover itself. I'll just put an extra little bit on the cover plate, or on the metal, and then I'll put the cover on that. So doing this, it takes about 2 minutes to cure. Be careful not to get any of this on the inside. The stuff is liquidy at first. Always keep it upright whenever you're using it, and it stinks, so use it in a well-ventilated area. Don't need to be getting high more than what you already are from the gas. Okay. I'll leave it there for about 2 minutes. Maybe put a little more here. I'm trying to put a little extra since I'm not putting it on the cover. Okay, I'm going to let it sit for 2 minutes like that, and then I will push it on. There is a certain spot right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. This right here is a little divot on the cover. There's a spot right here that you're going to want to put that on, and then the cover also has an arrow pointing towards the front. Make sure that is facing towards the front as well. So while I'm sitting here, you orientate your cover, and I'm just going to wait. How much longer we got? I still got about another minute. I'll fast forward for y'all. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes. I'm going to orientate it like I mentioned earlier without touching anything. Okay. Press it on there. Oops, sorry guys. Sorry again. There we go. Okay. Just like that. Make sure everything's out of the way. Press down really hard. That way it gets in everything. Okay. You don't have to sit on it. If anything, you probably don't want to do that. You'll bend the cover. So I'm just going to sit here for a couple seconds. Just to make sure the surfaces are evenly coated. It's going to take about 10 to 16 minutes for it to fully solidify, and then another 5 to 8 hours for it to fully harden. So this is just to get everything nice and coated. Okay, now that that's done, I'll slide my harness cover on. If I can do that. Yeah, see how it's still moving? Gotta be careful. Okay, slowly press this on. And if anything, it's probably better just leave this off for right now. That way everything solidifies. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that off. Let that solidify a little more. Then we'll put it on, and then we'll attach the 2 connectors that's connected to this wiring. Okay, I waited for a little bit. Still a little wet, but it's definitely a little sealed, more than what it was. So I'm going to go ahead and install this now. Just push it on in till you hear it crunching inside. You know what I mean whenever you push it in. Okay, so that's good. Lay that down a little bit. And now we can install the rest of the wiring into them slots. Okay, installing the wire. This side here. This side there. These do have a little bit of a seal on it. I don't know if y'all's will, but if it is, just press it down until it's flush. I'm not going to worry about seal all on those. And then we can put down all of our flaps and carpeting. Make sure that's snug under there. And now that that's all done, let's install our seats. Okay, now we're going to get the seats in. I already got it somewhat started. Whew, that's heavy. Oh, right now here. Oh, remember, the angled ones are closer to the front, and the ones that aren't flat and flush. Come on. Oh, they're gonna be what's anchored to the back. Okay, let me get back there and straighten this out. All right, that's in place. Make sure everything's lined up there. Now let's get this tightened down. Okay, so we're gonna get these back ones started. Small one's gonna go on the left side. Remember, the bigger screw is gonna go in that middle slot. We're not gonna tighten these down all the way quite yet, just to get them snug. That way we have a baseline, because we still gotta do the front ones as well. We wanna make sure these are nice and centered. After all, our babies are gonna be sitting down on these. We don't want them getting hurt if something were to happen. That would be devastating. Safety is always #1 priority. And I'm sure you can agree with me if you have children. Okay. Okay, loosen that up. Okay, now that that's done, we'll lift this seat up and we'll get the front ones. Okay, same thing. Get these snug. Move around the seat. If it's not going in, it's the whole reason we left this wobbly. Try not to strip anything as well. Okay, that one's snug. Move on to this side here. Good grief. Okay, so for these ones, I will go ahead and get them snug. Just snug. Okay? I'm not going to tighten them down all the way, okay? Move the seats down. Okay, everything is good. Let's tighten down the back ones. I know you can't see it, but go ahead and tighten those ones down. Get them snug. Okay, now that those are snug, we're going to tighten these down. I don't know the torque specs for them, so I am going to go ahead and look these up real quick, just to make sure that we get these torqued down to where they need to be. We don't want them being too tight, stripping out the threads. We don't want them being too loose. That way they undo it, and if something does happen, there goes the seats. So let me do some research. We'll find out the torques, and then we'll torque them down. Okay, so we're going to torque these down. I've seen places say it's about 30 to 40 foot-pounds of torque, so we're going to do 35. If you want, use blue Loctite. That one's good, which means I had that too tight. And then that way they don't move, and you can ensure they don't move. But you definitely don't want to strip these out. Okay, those are torqued down. I'm going to move to the back and torque those to spec. Okay, we're going to torque these down here. Okay, that one's good. Torque this one down. Okay, that's torqued down. Let's get the small one and torque that one in. Or grab the small seat, throw it in here, and then we'll get that one torqued down. Okay, getting this other seat in. Don't forget about the seatbelt clip. It's got a clip into this side here. Okay. There we go. Okay, that's in place. Where's that seatbelt clip at? Let's see here. Let me see here. Oh yeah, okay, so this one right here, this guy, he goes to this one, so don't forget that. I'll have to do that in a second, but get your seat oriented right. And then, time to play ball. If you're trying to figure out how to get that clip back in, just take this seat, tilt it up, and then this can come in, slide that forward, and then you can come in through here and push it up a little bit until you start getting your way in there. And you can put that down and fish it from there. So that's how you can get that in. Put this back down and make sure it's all matching up. And now let's get these screws in. Now if you're having trouble getting this through, I'll show you an easy way to get this and force it through. So get it under there, and then it's gonna start coming up. Hang on. There we go. There we go. So I'm gonna force it through, and I would recommend doing the front portion first. I find that to be the easiest. So you can see there, kind of got that front portion through. I'm going to slide it along the back to where you can see where the belt will buckle like that. Take my seat belt. I'm going to click it like that. I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to force it through and wiggle it around from there. Alright, there it goes. Push that in, let go, and there it is. And if you, there's the center. But yep, that's how you're gonna get that through. Push all that back down, and that's how you'll get that one through. Okay, they're nice and snug now. Didn't show them because you should have been able to get it yourself. Get these torqued down to spec. Okay, that one's good. Get this one. Okay, that one's torqued down. Let's go to the front. Okay, get these ones. Okay, that one's good. Can't see. Not a lot of space on this side. Okay, and that one's good. Okay, now that the seats are torqued down, we can start installing our compartments. The large one first. Okay, make sure it's scooted all the way back. Flush up against the seats, best as we can, until we can make sure that the screw holes are lined up. Next, we're going to screw in these two screws right there. They have a hex head, but a screw is what I would prefer to use. These are plastic, the inserts at least, so you can easily strip them out. It's not what you want. It's not what you want at all. So make sure everything's lined up, and then screw away. Okay, just get them snug, don't get them too tight. Like I said, plastic inserts. Now, let's install the smaller one. Now remember, the smaller compartment has that trim connected to it, so be very careful with it. Make sure all the holes line up. Make sure the back's completely set down. Okay, remember there's 8 tabs total, 4 on each side, and kind of going diagonal. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, those are all set in. Now from here, we'll go inside the compartments and we'll install all those screws. Inside compartment, remember, 1 here, 1 there, and 1 there. We'll install those 3 and then we'll move to the big one. Okay, once those 3 are installed, remember, 3 more screws. 1, 2, and 3. Once those are installed, don't forget your mat, put everything back where it goes, and you have completed this procedure. Thank y'all so much for checking out the video. I hope that it helped y'all out and that you learned something new. I want to remind y'all to check out the website, caswellskappa.wixsite.com/caswellskappa. There will be more procedures for the Hyundai Santa Fe's, obviously this specific generation, 2007 to 2012, that are readily available and made with videos ready for you to watch. So if you have more procedures that need to be done, oil changes, cabin air filters, removing the seats in general, I got you covered. Well, and that's all I have for y'all today, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Till then.